Class 1, Step 2, assemble your team.
As I said earlier, Rebecca, buying a home is not a sole process. You're not doing it by yourself. You've got to have a team, and one of the most important roles that's played in the process is played by a real estate agent.
What is a real estate agent, or realtor as they're called now? Do I have to stick to one particular realtor?
It's good to interview. Well, let me back up, Rebecca. This is an awesome question. A real estate agent is basically someone that's licensed in the state that you're buying a property to basically negotiate on your behalf, represent you in purchasing a home. That's what a real estate agent is. Is it good to have more than one? Yes and no. I always argue, hey, interview several agents to arrive at someone that you're comfortable with, but stick to one agent. Don't jump around from one agent to the other. If you're not loyal to the agent, you really can't expect that agent to be loyal to you. You don't want to confuse yourself either. If you really feel the need to talk to several individuals, do that at the outset. Pick one that you're comfortable with and then stick with them through to the end.
What is a real estate agent's duty?
There's several things that an agent does. One of the most important things is that they're going to be the one that provides you, the buyer, information. A real estate agent is responsible for gathering data, a lot of information from the experience and from the internet, and presenting that to you. They're also going to be the one that's really assessing your wants and your needs with you, coordinating the third-party work that's so big in the process. They're going to be the one that's negotiating the money and the price and the terms on your behalf. They're going to manage the deadlines, watch for repairs. There's a lot of things that a real estate person does. Now, if you hire an agent who is overly assertive and kind of puts you a place where you think you should be rather than in a neighborhood that you like, you've already lost control of the purchase. You should ask yourself, does your agent readily offer up information, or do you always have to ask? And these are some of the things that you want to consider, Rebecca, when you're interviewing a real estate agent. How available is he or she? How connected is that agent in the community that you're buying? How familiar is that agent with the area or the neighborhood or the community that you're interested in? Will he or she put on a regular email list for homes that come in on the market that fit your criteria? Will you be notified instantly, or are they kind of out of touch? Will their availability fit your schedule? So there's a lot of things that you've got to think through as you pick a real estate agent. Of course, the most common thing, basic thing to do is make sure they've got a good reputation. Google them and look online and look for complaints and so on and so forth, just like you would with any other professional service.
Do I have to have an agent, or is that something that I could just do on my own?
Technically you don't. A lot of folks do buy homes without a real estate agent, but there's so many pitfalls, Rebecca, that going in and representing yourself on a real estate transaction, if you're not a savvy real estate industry person, can be very dangerous. You might miss some fine print. You might get hoodwinked. You just don't know. This is what these people do. This is what agents do. They're licensed. This is their lifestyle. This is what they do for a living, their profession. And technically, as a buyer, it doesn't cost you any money to use a real estate agent to represent you. Their fee or their compensation is paid by the seller. So, I always say to people, hey, if you were convicted of murder and you could very well represent yourself in court, why would you if you could get an attorney? Same thing with taxes. You could probably do your own taxes, but use a tax person, use a professional that's up to date with the latest, greatest tax rules and does that for a living,
What can I do if my realtor isn't responding to me or isn't communicating to me?
And that happens a lot. Realtors get busy just like the rest of us, and that applies, Rebecca, not just to your real estate agent, but your loan professional and your insurance person and your home inspector. I always say, decide ahead of time at the beginning of your professional relationship or your arrangement how you're going to communicate. I tell my clients, hey, the best way to reach me is email. I'm always in front of my email. If you want a quicker response, email me. If it's a more urgent matter, by all means call me, but even if you call me, it doesn't mean I'm going to answer the phone at that first ring, because I might be with a client, and the rudest thing to do would be to answer your phone call when I'm with that client. You wouldn't want me to do that, when I'm meeting with you. So decide with your professional team member, if you would, hey, what's the best way to get a hold of you? If I need to get a hold of you, should I email you? Should I fax you? Should I leave you a voicemail. What can I expect in terms of return time for you to get back to me? In just having that conversation at the outset would set the tone for that professional relationship.
So we've talked about real estate agents, but who else needs to be a member of my team?
Who else needs to be a member of your team? I do, the lender. Or whatever lender or loan professional that you've chosen, you've got to ask yourself, is that lender a direct lender or a broker? Now, brokers over the years have got a bad stigma, and that's unfair. Brokers don't always have higher rates or higher fees. And I've met and worked with several brokers that just do a wonderful job, work real hard for a client. But you do have to ask yourself, is my lender a direct lender, or are they a broker? Can they underwrite my loan within their own house, under their one roof, or do they have to ship my file out to a third party? That's important. What's that lender's track history? Did they come recommended? Are they familiar with the recent guidelines and changes? The loan industry, particularly in the last 4 to 5 years, has become a moving target. And if your loan officer, your lender, is not up to date, you're going to miss out. One good question to ask your loan officer, ask of your loan officer is your loan officer gathering sufficient information from you, Rebecca, before he or she suggests a loan product? Be wary if your loan officer is throwing a product at you, or a way of structuring your deal, before they even understand what the facts are. Look at your income, your credit, your assets. Are they open and clear about their good faith estimate? Are they willingly going to go over the numbers with you and break it down for you? These are just some of the things that you want to look for in a good loan professional.
What is a good faith estimate?
A good faith estimate, first of all, is, and there's two parts to that sentence, 3 words, but 2 parts. First of all, it is an estimate. It's basically a snapshot or an anticipated breakdown of what the transaction is going to look like at closing, in terms of all the fees that are charged, all the money that's being dispersed, who's getting what, who's getting paid what, how much am I going to have to come in with. All of that's typically depicted on the good faith estimate. The first part of that sentence says good faith, because it's impossible for the lender to know down to the dime until the very moment of the end. So what the lender does is we gather information from third parties, from your appraiser and from the escrow and title and surveyor and so on and so forth, the insurance company and the property taxes and all that good stuff, and we compile all that information at the initial stages of the process. And when we're doing that, we don't have the final numbers, and so it is very much an estimate that's given in good faith. That's why it's called a good faith estimate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So besides you and my realtor, who else is part of this dream team?
The dream team, home inspector, Rebecca. Home inspectors is probably as important as anyone else that's in the process. There's really no substitute for experience when you're talking about a home inspector. You've got to ask yourself, how long has that company or that inspector been in business? What kind of certifications do they have? A sad thing about the home inspection industry is that many of these certifications are actually available through quick little study courses online. So don't fall for that. Be sure that the inspector that you retain and that you choose has professional affiliations and certifications through nationally recognized organizations. And here's some of the few that you want to take down. NAHI stands for National Association of Home Inspectors. ICBO, which is the International Conference of Building Officials. EPA, which is for Environmental Protection Agency. And this information will kind of help you and give you some insight into the background of that inspector or inspection company, and really see how much experience they have. Now, a lot of home inspectors, Rebecca, bring nothing more to the inspection than just a flashlight. You don't want that. Today's inspector has really got to be taking advantage of some of the newer technology that's out there and be fully utilizing the best testing equipment available, because at the end of the day, they're signing off on this document and you're leaning on it, relying on it, and you don't want nasty surprises coming up just because the inspector was not using modern technology to really snuff out things that might be wrong with the home. Okay.
What kind of equipment are you talking about, Charles?
What kind of equipment? They're really cutting-edge stuff, ranging from the more sophisticated testing devices, such as, electrical circuit analyzers, electronic carbon monoxide and fuel gas analyzers. There's digital moisture meters. I wouldn't know how to use half of this stuff, Rebecca. Digital cameras to document the findings, all the way down to the more mundane but necessary equipment such as good ladders, flash. All this stuff's got to be something that a good inspector brings to the home inspection, so that you're not being shortchanged. And one more thing I want to add is, be sure to find an inspector that's not easily swayed by price. You don't want to use the one that's cheapest just because they're the cheapest one. I always say to myself, hey, if they're willing to be easily swayed by you on dropping their price, what else are they willing to compromise?
Yeah.
Do you want someone that's there just to make a sale and doesn't care about what's on that inspection, or do you want someone that's firm on price and therefore is more likely to be firm on critical things that they run across during the course of the inspection that they're not going to turn a blind eye to just to please you or get it done quick?
That's a very good point. Charles, so what about an insurance agent? Is that somebody who should be part of this team?
Absolutely, Rebecca. A homeowner's insurance agent has got to be a part of your team. You've got to shop around and find someone that you're comfortable with. And again, we're not talking about someone that has the cheapest prices. A lot of insurance companies will offer special discounts if you install a security system, or if you put your car insurance policy together with them. A lot of them offer stuff like senior discounts. So be sure to ask around. Ask your lender and or your real estate agent for a referral. They've probably been in the business a while, and they probably know someone that's reputable and does a good job.